First thing you're going to need is something to dye. Any natural fiber, such as cotton, hemp, bamboo, can be dyed, but the problem is any random item that you buy might have been treated with chemicals that make it wrinkle resistant, stain resistant, etc. So you could use one of these Gildan PFD, which stands for Prepared for Dye. You could also use one of these Teltex, which I like. The next thing you're going to need is a protractor. They're used for mandalas. A yardstick is also useful because it's a little longer than this special ruler. But this next thing is really helpful for any of the pleated work, like the honeycomb technique. You're also going to want to get some of these markers, washable markers. These fine tip ones specifically. These things are referred to as Sinew polars. They're really nice because they have a spot for a drill bit to go that makes it really quick to wind up the fishing line or sinew on them. This guy on Facebook makes these nice wooden ones, and you can contact him, or you can get a cheap one by just Googling Sinew puller. But I've got two from him, and they're really nice. I use a lot of the 65-pound, this stuff, Durabraid, and then this is a fishing line you use for the Kenny-style nubs. Now, this Sinew, a couple years ago, I bought 48 rolls of it, and I still have it, because it's so much cheaper if you know you're going to need it. Otherwise, you can buy the same stuff on Amazon, but it's significantly more expensive if you buy one roll at a time. I couldn't find this exact type of beading jewelry pliers that I have, but I found these, and I think they look nicer than the ones I have, but I don't know for sure. And then I didn't link to any pair of scissors because I figured, or this tape, because I figured everybody has a pair of scissors. I don't use much of this kite string, but it's good for wig-wags or scrunch. And these clips are super useful. These are the only ones that I use or need. I use them every day. So those are all the tools that I use, but now we're going to move on to what you need to make dye. So you're going to need distilled water. You could buy a water distiller instead of buying the individual jugs of distilled water, but I've never used one yet, so I can't really recommend a good one. Then you're going to want something like this dispenser to put the distilled water in, and use one of these paint mixers to mix it along with this alginate, as well as urea and this Calsolene oil. So then you're gonna take the sodium alginate, and I'll make another video on how to mix a dye water up, but you're gonna take those ingredients and use a measuring cup and these little spoons and mix them together to prepare to make dye. And I modified this funnel. I cut part of it off. People ask me a lot what type of dye I use, and I always just say Prochem MX fiber reactive dye. But that's a type of dye I use. Now, there's a lot of different places that sell that type of dye. I always use Custom Colors here. for a long time exclusively, but he had to shut down for a little while. He's back open now, and you can order dye from him or sodium alginate. A lot of what these individual suppliers do is they make up their own mixes, but what you really want to do is go through here and look for the ones that say primary or have the MX next to them, like I'll show you here. You really just want to order these primary colors. What that means is that it's just the pure color. It's not a mix of multiple primaries. And it also doesn't have any inert filler material. Especially if you're just starting and don't know where to get started. Just order those to start with. Some of these colors that these suppliers sell, like Prochem has boysenberry, which is nice, or Dharma has lime pop. But you really just want to buy the primaries. And this website here that I'll show you, this Paula Birch website, can kind of explain what certain colors are called on each website. It's the same thing, but they just call it a different name. So if one is shut down, for example, you can order it from this other website, and it should be the same thing. And here we have the bottles I use. I mostly use the 2-ounce bottles, and the 1 ounce a little bit, the 4 ounce are okay. I don't really use the big 8-ounce ones. And then I primarily use these 18 gauge size needles for everything, and these 22 just a little bit for fine work. Then you're also going to need soda ash, which you can find in pool supply stores, or you can sometimes find little bags of it like in Walmart. This is a special detergent for washing the shirts with. You can also just use Blue Dawn dish soap. And then these puppy pads are nice for wrapping the shirts up. You can also use newspaper. You're going to need some gloves, and I always try to reuse those gloves. I'll rinse them, and sometimes they last weeks. And a lot of these bags I'll reuse too, because sometimes when you order from Dharma, they send these big heavy-duty plastic bags, and they're really nice. They last a long time. You can use them every week. Thanks for watching, and ask me whatever questions you have in the comments. I will make more videos that expand upon the individual topics. Thanks.